St. Louis is one of our two major urban centers, and one of the most popular attractions in the city is the St. Louis Arch. Something that some people don't know is that you can actually ride up inside the arch. So you can board a little capsule that takes you up to the top of the arch where there's a viewing station, and you can get out and see out of the windows to the Mississippi River on one side and the rest of the city on the other side. And it's a really breathtaking view and definitely a must-see if you're in St. Louis. There's the National Blues Museum in St. Louis, as well as several other museums and nightlife and great things for people who want to experience the city. Kansas City has a different flavor to St. Louis. Jazz is their forte, so there is the Jazz Museum that is connected to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, which was really important in the United States history because during segregation, black players started their own league, and that league helped to break the color barrier by allowing players of all races allowing black people to play baseball. And people like Jackie Robinson, who was the player that broke the color barrier in sports, he came from the Negro Leagues. So it's a really interesting museum, and it's a really interesting take on civil rights. It's definitely a must-see if you're in Kansas City, and they're both next to each other, so it's a great place to stop. And while you're there, don't forget to have some of the best barbecue you've ever had. Kansas City barbecue is very well known, very delicious. I haven't been to them all, I don't think, but I feel pretty confident in saying that. Something that's really interesting, the Missouri River essentially connects St. Louis and Kansas City. And along the Missouri River, there's the country's largest rails to trail called the Katy Trail. And it is a great place for biking, walking, running, just outdoor recreation. And it follows the Missouri River for about half of its length. And there's great stops along the way. So you'll go through Hermann, which is the center of Missouri wine country here. There are several different wine areas in Missouri. Hermann kind of has the German culture, and it has great restaurants, great bed and breakfast, amazing wine, and there's great places that you can stop and enjoy that as long as you bike responsibly, and then you can continue along the way. If you decided to bike the whole thing, it would take about 5 days, but there's great stops along the way. If you do not want to bike the whole way, you can take the Amtrak train, and then you can take your bike on that so you don't have to exert yourself too much. Well, I know that wine is important, I heard, and Missouri wine is kind of a hidden gem in the United States. So Missouri actually had the first American viticulture area in the country before even Napa Valley. Napa Valley came shortly after, but Missouri had the very first in Augusta. So we have 7 different wine trails in the state. So there's really something for everybody. The Norton grape is our state grape, and it's definitely something that is used a lot in Missouri wines. It's a red wine, but we have both red and white of different varieties, different award-winning wines. Down here in the southern part of the state is St. Genevieve, which is another great wine country. It has more French influence as compared to Hermann. There are different wine trails all throughout, and I think there are about 20 wine trails along the Missouri River. So again, if you were on the Katy Trail biking, there are great stops along the way if you want to have a little taste of wine.